Hey, have you ever had that weird dream where you just have that long, like, philosophical conversation with yourself because you're your own favorite person to talk to, and then things get bad because then the white people with no textures come to attack you, and then it's discovered that they are being led by yourself? Things only get worse in the end because you got shot by yourself, and that shot turns you into a white person because it somehow disables all your textures? No? Just me? Okay. Well, either way, we're trying to get ourselves back to normal. This Bumblebee, does this look right to you? Good, I didn't think so either. Let's hope we can fix things out. Ta-da! Okay, by the way, we're just going to do a little fun bit of Follow Cybertron, because this is one of my favorite games, and today we're going to play through the entire game with the goal of transforming the least few amount of times. Unfortunately, the first level is Bumblebee does make you transform once forward and back, but this is just a taste of what's to come. Unfortunately, the level does still end with us getting shot, but at least our textures don't disappear, so I think we can call that a win. Switching back in time to Optimus, we're back in Iacon, and the tower got hit. I don't really know what 9/11 joke to make there. But it also gets worse because then their cannons that they pull up with start shooting at our lovely Labubu. I don't know what we could possibly do without that. But also, there's a fun little surprise over there for anyone who's played this game, and if you haven't, you'll see what it is later. Trust me, it is lovely. Also, this section here is another example where normally you drive through, but I begin one of the longest sprints. I don't know if it is actually the longest. I think it's going to be one later on. Same character, but it's definitely annoying, to say the least. Just a lot of button holding. I then get to play Doctor with Ratchet, as I basically take this doohickey, shove it into Silverbolt, and, right. Don't worry, it's a similar thing, and last time I stuck something into someone, they were at least happy about it. That's a lie, I don't get a lot of action. Anyway, moving on. We then get access to this fun little turret in this section where the game's like, hey, fend off some Decepticons, because why not? I made a vow that I would do my best to protect every Autobot soldier here with me. You'll never guess what happened. The dropship came in. And this thing, it's annoying, but it is fun to shoot at. I did check after, whenever the battle finally ended, and discovered that none of them were alive. R.I.P. Little Autobot. When I finally got my chance to meet up with Perceptor, he turned out to be a real homie, because he does turn into this weird microscope thing. He decided to help locate a gigantic gun for me to use, which was great, until I realized that gigantic gun was guarded by this sleeper. This boy, who clearly is the average gym bro, only works on arms, chest, and back, neglecting legs. I did manage to save one of the little Autobots, who I very quickly nicknamed Jeremy. Things got worse though, because another one decided to kill Jeremy. You all know the drill at this point. Send in an RIP in chat for Jeremy, please and thank you. I finally did get access to the gun, and then decided to throw a secondary flashbang along with it to blind any and all nearby children. This tactic worked effectively considering it destroyed the tank and sent a lot of fear into my enemies. Unfortunately, things only got worse as I saw a bunch of Decepticons killed my Autobots. I don't even know why all of them had to die. They just did. And, yeah. I did finally get access to an even bigger gun, which blew my mind, because, okay, how does this exist? And why does it exist? But it's a beautiful segment that mainly involves you shooting tanks and dropships. I also would take an occasional pot shot at the giant, sections of troops, because I have a personal headcanon that at least doing one of those helps quite a bit with dealing with the enemy. However, the cannon, doesn't last forever. It lasts a good couple of sweet minutes, but not forever. And things only get more interesting, because we discover that the cannon was part of Metroplex, a living city block. It's probably not O block at this point, but whenever he wakes up, we see that he is a good man of the gym because he works everything, including legs. Technically, we started level 3, but either way, it works just the same, because it's another very, very, very long sprint. I think this one actually takes the cake. But luckily, with Metroplex, we destroy not just one, but 2 of the fusion cannons. The third one, Metroplex goes in for the kill, but that cannon suddenly gains intelligence and decides to just shoot him. I can't deal with this, man. Like, what do you mean? Metroplex was my guy. He's my big robot. He's the one who's supposed to kill everyone for me. My murder machine. Now he's gone. guess I really just have to do everything myself. As soon as I get inside, point blank sniper? Are you kidding? That's horribly inefficient. But luckily, Metroplex is back online, and there's only one reasonable outcome that comes from this. I'm assuming he's mad. But, hey, now y'all just get to watch Metroplex basically beat up Megatron like a domestic abuse situation. And the next level cuts to Sideswipe driving Cliff Jumper and Jazz. Basically, the context of it is we're here to look for Grimlock, and yeah, honestly, there's not too much interesting that happens on this entire mission. What does suck, however, is aside from all the really cool scenery and destruction, is that there are a lot of these vents that you're forced to transform to go into, whether it means going around these security gates, which you can trip, but certain situations it just makes it nigh impossible to actually survive. But the level ends with a weird bit of Alita 1 lore, or maybe that's RC, I can't tell. This weird, annoying guy who can see through your cloakers, a holographic image of Earth and the solar system, I think. I don't recognize that continent, though. But then you just have to escort Bomb. Bomb is not that bad. The thing is here, for a decent part of this run, I had added a self-imposed challenge just to see how far I could go without it, and the idea was how long can I go without using secondary weapons. Spoiler alert, it was that section. We then fall with Jazz into some acrobatic feats, and again, similar to Jazz, while I love his level, there's not that much interesting to talk about other than the fact that we find a body of an Autobot. Well, it starts with an arm, then it leads to the rest of the body, but eh. We then very quickly meet the things that killed him. Insecticons? I don't know, all I'm saying is I don't know how he died, because they clearly died of shotgun shells, so it sounds like a skill issue to me, but I mean, hey, what do I know? I then have another sprint, but thankfully not nearly of a long one, to get out of the toxic area. Find a weird little goopy goop of this. I'm assuming it's raw protein powder blueberry flavored or something, but at this point, it could be anything. This is Hasbro we're talking about here. Then there's a weird area and a glitch. So you're supposed to pick up a sniper there, and the game forces you to do it, but it wouldn't work for me. So I tried jumping, moving, none of that worked, until I hit the transform button, and then transformed back, it spawned in the sniper, and got me to the right area, which was interesting. And then cue a couple of sniping segments throughout, which are easy. And then a fat person joke, which really hard, and a dancing lever. Yeah, I forget every single time that this dancing lever is here. How is this normal? And then the level ends with a bit more of Insecticons swarming. Honestly, they're terrible, but not impossible. Just more annoying than anything else. I wish you could add more attachments. Oh yeah, we also end up blowing the entire tower, which causes us to run, but luckily you can transform back and sprint through. Now, considering that I can't see anything, I fully assumed that the game was gonna, kill me. It didn't. The next level picks up with the Decepticons. By the way, fun thing, for flyers, we're just going to ignore the entire thing of the challenge because the levels are built around you flying, so yeah. Luckily, there are some segments where I can do just weird parkour, like jumping on this pipe to get through. Technically, I don't need to, but hey, I want to make this as close to a non-transforming run as possible. But luckily, all three of these spawning first things can in fact be destroyed. Brawl is then told to destroy a couple of bridge supports, which somehow doesn't take it down. For that, we have to travel inside, because this thing was built to withstand everything, even though those of us in engineering actually know this is not how a bridge would work. The inside area is kind of tough. I was in there with a riot cannon, and fun thing about enclosed spaces and shotguns, they're not that great. But whenever I finally pull open the last support area, I get hit with the Titan. These guys are fun. Remember back before Rise of the Darkspark when these things were specifically Autobots? Yeah, no, me too. They're not too difficult though. We finally get to plant the dead pack on there, and then fly out as Vortex. It's funny how, when you're looking at a game in terms of least fun levels, One of the ones that isn't it, or even if it is, it's all about destroying a bridge, but the level is still fun. Like, the context for this level is way more boring than the actual level itself. We then finally get to see the bridge blow up in a weird way that, I don't know how it does that, but hey, you do you, bridge, I guess. Then the Decepticons launch an air attack, even though this thing is covered in air defenses, which naturally means we have to actually fix it, mainly the playable characters. So meet Swindle, our next buddy for the next, like, 2-ish levels, I don't remember how long, but he gets annoying pretty fast, because we have another situation. These grates you can destroy in robot mode. The grates also take a lot of health. Take a lot of health? No, they have a lot of health. Basically, it takes forever to destroy them, and I was just worried I'd run out of ammo before I destroyed them. Also, these small cars that are running around are just annoying to do. They don't do an insane amount of damage, they're just, like, annoying. I don't know why. Then you have to sprint to the front of this thing to take out its other 2 wheels. There's a slight issue to this. Basically, you're sprinting to it in order to get ahead of it. But whenever I get to the front, I would still have time to shoot at those things before even crossing the acid pools. I don't know, it's a weird situation. Plus, they have these turrets that can, like, laser you pretty dang effectively, and then, of course, some more Autobots shooting at you leads to your death. When I spawned back in, I managed to take out the final couple of transport, I don't know what I want to call these wheel thingy-majiggies, but I got introduced to a slight problem. Sticky grenades. You're supposed to disable these by transforming, but since we can't transform, well, we're just gonna eat them, like those rockets to the face, which really did a lot of damage. By the way, those sticky grenades are gonna be annoying later, just for, well, me, but not really to you. But whenever the Autobots finally decide that enough has been enough, they're gonna see, holy cow, how long did this clip go on for? Wow, this is really bad editing for me, but, y'all just get to suffer with me for quite a while. Is this part in the script where I'm talking about? No. Ah, okay. I remember where we were. Sorry, I was on the wrong page. Okay, so after you destroy all of those, they send in 2 of those Titans, which sounds interesting. I'm ready for the fight. Things get weird because the game thinks you're in vehicle mode. I transform back naturally as I can't stand vehicle mode, and then I just basically abuse these guys with rockets. Once you throw rockets at them, they're really not that tough at all. Then things get worse because I climb onto the ship. Oh yeah, by the way, this thing's a ship now. Did you not know that they fly now? Because they fly now. Really? Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. They fly now. Autobots fly now. Alright, sorry that y'all had to get bullied with the joke. We're mainly up here to destroy 2 sets of guns, so then that way the rest of our team can land, because somehow a team of 5 is going to be able to take over the ship. The second turret is brought down with the dropship, which makes me question why we couldn't just do this to begin with, but it leads to the best segment in the entire game where we get to see the team, the Combaticons, form Bruticus. And let me just tell you, I haven't been this excited since 2013 whenever I was playing this game on my PlayStation 3. Beautiful, man! Like, what are you talking about? Oh god, that just made me remember how old I am. Anyway, Bruticus' section is really easy because he has no vehicle form, and it's basically just a hack and slash. By the way, I made the mistake of letting one of my friends drive, and then I remembered, he can't drive? It's okay, though. We survived.
Meanwhile, in Soundwave's lab,
Things haven't been going well for the Decepticons since they've been under Starscream's rule, and there was a Decepticon sitting on Soundwave. He's in his weird cassette form, which, was kind of interesting, but at the same time, not really important, because we're here as Soundwave for one reason, and one reason only. To resurrect Megatron. Because I don't know if you remember, but he wasn't exactly in a whole lot of fighting condition after Metrobucks. Remember what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, luckily he's back, and he plans on taking over the Decepticons by beating Starscream. And by that, I mean Starscream hides behind in a force shield while minions get sent after us. It's very, very anticlimactic, but at the same time perfectly in character for Starscream. You know how things go. The hardest part of this entire fight was actually the leapers, just because there's 2 to 3 of them at a time, and sometimes they would go right after another, so I would think I had a moment to attack, but I really wouldn't. which caused me a few deaths, but eventually I was able to beat Starscream. Unfortunately, that required me to transform and then shoot him. Not as much fun as I would have hoped, but luckily I did, and by the way, we took off half of his tits, so clearly his value as Transformer has been lost by 100%. Then we go to the Autobot City, or whatever it's called nowadays, because we're here for Trypticon. If most of you don't remember who Trypticon is, play War for Cybertron, or just look at any other medium. He's very big, very important, for now. By the way, these red cars made their appearance once again, and they are very annoying, but luckily, Megatron's riot cannon is pretty good at taking them out. Rumble was seen sexually harassing or assaulting an Autobot, and then Megatron wastes a single shot destroying a projector that is showing Optimus, and then they have a long bit of dialogue. It's unnecessary, but it kind of is just like, oh my gosh, Megatron, you're alive? Yeah, shut up, bitch. I mean, I'm here to take all the yummy protein powder you have. At least this Megatron does work on his legs. The Autobots send a Titan after us, which is honestly the second hardest battle of this level. The first one being the cars, just because the cars are really annoying. But really, with the riot cannon fully upgraded like I did early on for Megatron, because I knew this was going to be a tough sequence, it's nice and easy to deal with him. It is a fun weapon to use after all. He did kind of glitch for a second, but he did die. Don't worry about that. And then there's just a defend your position segment where you just hold off waves of Autobots while Soundwave hacks into Trypticon. It's an interesting sequence considering that there's like hundreds of power-ups given to you and there's turrets scattered about, so there's never really any risk of defeating or like failing to beat this level. And no vehicles were needed. Then Megatron gives a sermon because Trypticon's about to be transformed into a ship. Back with Starscream, we cut to him putting a explosive on Decepticons? Huh? Yeah, it turns out Starscream wasn't a big fan of Megatron shooting him in the chest, taking off his tits, like we just described like a minute ago. It starts out as like a fun stealth level, and then quickly devolves into a bit of shooting these Decepticons with the shotgun. By the way, this is another Flyers level, so yeah, we're not going to have really much luck doing this without transforming. But that doesn't matter. You're not here for that. You're really not here for that. It's just the fact that this game is back. There was a segment right before where I kept getting hounded with rockets and the sticky grenades, where basically I couldn't hide in the cloaker to regenerate, which led to my death a few times because I couldn't figure out who to focus on first, and my rocket ammo was not nearly as infinite as I would have liked. I will say, I lasted longer than I expected. Starscream thinks it's a great idea to free Grimlock, which, I gotta say, I don't mind playing as him, but we all know how this ends, with Starscream being hurled across the room, and Grimlock breaking free like it's nobody's business. Luckily for me, we get to play as Grimlock, and the first part of his level, it's pretty nice. It's just a hack and slash. This hack and slash involves freeing our friend who turns into a pterodactyl? What? Pterodactyls didn't exist on Cybertron? What the hell is going on here? What have I taken today? Then we get a boss fight against Hardshell, which his boss fight sounds really cool, and he even gets in this really cool, like, weird mech thing, until you realize that the entire fight is just you grabbing canisters and throwing it at him. Like, that's the whole fight. It's really not that fun. I kind of honestly remembered this fight being a lot better. Then luckily we get to give him the older sibling to little sibling treatment by just grabbing him and stuffing him like a ragdoll wherever we needed to. It was immaculate. Then you got another bit of the hack and slash where an Insecticon just got stuck in the air for a hot second, but this thing was great. Also, I am going to mention some softlocks that happen throughout this level, but those will be easier to explain later on. The hard part of this challenge comes later on whenever we unlock the actual Dino mode, which is fun to use, although technically breaking the guidelines. And this is where the soft lock comes in that I mentioned earlier. Sometimes certain sections of the level just refuse to function or to work until you transform. I don't know why they do this, but I think it's just so like, hey, you should actually play the game the way it was meant to be played. So, I guess I'll understand that. I'd used the minimum amount of time in the Dino mode as I could just to make the challenge more authentic, but let's be real here. I've already said it before, I'll say it again. No one really cares about this actual challenge. Things only get more depressing as whenever Slug saves me and pulls me up, I discover that the door that fell on Kickback didn't actually kill him. He's still alive under there, and the game won't let you kill him. I tried swinging my sword at him, even slamming it on him. That didn't do anything. I just had to leave him like the miserable sack of crap he is. I'm sorry, that's really aggressive, but he mocked me a lot, and he forced me to have a dino mode, which is fun, but it makes this challenge another failed one. Damn it. After like 10,000 years, we finally find another one of the dino bots. I don't remember what his name is. I want to say Snarl, but Sharpshot decides that he's going to torture him by just shocking him. Yeah, I don't really know how this one was supposed to go. But things will get interesting later on. Here's the problem. When the shocking starts, you're supposed to destroy those silver generators. And I tried even throwing canisters at it. The canisters don't do anything. I just showed you that last one so you could actually see I tried. You have to use the flame belcher, flamethrower that Grimlock has in dino mode. So naturally, whenever I finally have just about everything I need, or those are the only things left, I transform into dino mode, do the weird little dino shuffle, and then, yeah, just blow them all up, because why not? Luckily this time we do get to kill this Insecticon. Even though he can fly, because we played as him in Rise of the Darkspark, he doesn't try, he just lets himself get eaten by a dinosaur. Good. Now if only we could kill Sharpshot, or Kickback. I really wish I could have killed Kickback at that point. He was the most annoying one of them all. I told myself things couldn't get worse, and then I was wrong. We get hunked out of a... I don't know. We get thrown out of a window, Swoop saves us, and then carries us for quite a while. I'm not counting this as a transformation, but I am going to take advantage to just shoot a lot more people because it seems like fun, honestly. And then we get another part of the plan that is fall out of the sky, do a very, very weird falling down, land on a soldier and killing him, making our kill count go up higher without even trying. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. But we're here for one reason only. We bite off Shockwave's arm, and then give him a bitch slap, I guess, but it's okay. We gave him a bitch slap with the tail, so it's fine. Unfortunately, us doing that did destroy pretty much the entire thing. So we're forced to run. Can't change back into robot mode, so it's just sprinting away in dino form again. I basically ignore everyone the most I can, discovering that the leapers actually don't die when you hit them with the sprinting. That's interesting. And then the arc finally launches after realizing there's no more protein powder or no more room for gains. Metroplex, after realizing he'd be stuck only going to a Planet Fitness gym, decides that he will actually sacrifice himself, because he wouldn't want to live in a hellish world like that. We honor you, Metroplex. You're a great man, and you've saved our Labubu successfully. Not what we wouldn't do without that man. He's so beautiful. I know you all agree with me. Final level is an amalgamation of a bunch of different characters doing a bunch of different things throughout the final battle, which ironically enough is also where the first level takes place. We start off with Soundwave, who gets his adventure started by flying into space and then jumping through a conveniently placed window onto the Autobot ship. He's there for one reason, and one reason only. Pull 3 separate levers, doing so which causes all of the Autobot defense grid to basically... Don't know how that happens, but sure, I guess. We then switch over to Jetfire. By the way, this is the one time where I make a weird exception for this rule, considering that we are prompted into vehicle mode in the first time. Now, I could have spent the time to try and figure out how to do this level in robot mode, but personally, I just decided, okay, I've already failed the challenge before, and this part isn't really that important, so I'm just going to do it in vehicle mode. Bruticus shows up, and then we get another fun, basically Hulk smash segment, because, you know, Bruticus is just so great to play as, and I do mean that. He's a lot of fun. You basically show up to anywhere, and then you are quite literally Hulk smashing. Imagine a Hulk game, or just something like that. Or honestly, you know what? Bruticus is how a Pacific Rim game should be made. I don't know if anyone remembers Pacific Rim, but hey, I mean, I've already made the reference, and let's be real here, I'm already known for making a couple of weird references or jokes. After Bruticus does his thing, they send in Jazz to fuck him up, because somehow Jetfire can't aim his rockets at all. Jazz Eye transformed back into robot mode because we're going to need it, and the boss fight against Bruticus is pretty simple. It just involves grappling up to him, shooting his head with an entire magazine of a submachine gun, just a couple times, I think, and then setting 3 separate events where you get him to step on a mine, trip him, and then basically pinpoint where Jetfire and the others are supposed to shoot their missiles. Only then can they actually hit him. I don't know why they keep missing, but hey, we're almost done with this. The last bit is an Optimus versus Megatron showdown, which I gotta say, is like 10 times better than the boss fight we had of fighting Lockdown. You are given the choice of Optimus versus Megatron, and it took me a hot second to debate it, but then of course I decided, you know what, why not Megatron? Why not? At this point, it was far more fun, engaging. And of course, technically this entire section you beat without vehicles, because you can't transform. But honestly, this boss fight is just still super fun. I gotta say, Optimus, I did not expect to be a good swordsman as he is in this. Like, he basically beats the shit out of you in this sequence, because you slash him, he then steals your blade and stabs you with it. Like, what? And then Megatron, of course, not wanting to duck the fade, just beats him up while the sword is still in his chest. And things only get better, because after he's done beating up Optimus in the close quarters, shoots him with the fusion cannon, and then pulls the sword out of himself. What? Also, with that, we're just going to go ahead and end the video, because I don't really know what else to say anymore. It's pretty much done. Long story short, we could not beat this game without transforming, but this has been a weird one, but I really just wanted an excuse to play this game again. I have a much better idea for the next video on this one, so let me know what else you guys want to see. Okay, bye.